Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to chapter 4, topic 2. In this topic, we're going to get into new effects and adding motion within each and every scene. So let's see how we get into that. Take one. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to chapter 4, topic 2. In this topic, we're going to see how we can create effects and different environment settings and motions within each of these scenes. So let's get straight to it. Now we've got edit clip, new effect and build with effects on the top left corner over here. Every time we add a new effect, we can go and build with the effects on. Build is basically going back to our editor over here. So as you can see, the man with the shovel is the build, and over here the man with the shovel and the stars on the side means build with effects. Usually we won't prefer building with all those effects because it slows down the editor process. And after adding the effects, we can anyway see it within the viewport over here. Now let's start by providing effects to the first scene. You can see that the first scene is highlighted over here, and we'll go into new effect. Now from world, we'll be adding the sun, we'll add the shadow, we'll add reflection. These three are majorly supposed to be used within all the views or all the scenes to get the best possible look of an entire movie. You can reduce the brightness to get the perfect day. Now in the shadow over here, you will see the shadow range. The shadow range is basically going to show us the different ranges each shadow can provide. Coloring will take us towards a warmer color if we decrease it, and towards a brighter color, a lighter color and a cooler color if we increase it. Brightness is going to increase the brightness of the shadows. As you can see, it's darker and now it will be brighter. So we'll keep it darker because that's how the shadow should be seen. Indoor and outdoor, again outdoor takes it towards a cooler color and indoor takes it towards a regular little warmer color. So it depends, even though sometimes in the outdoor we can use the indoor depending on what we want to really perceive within that scene. The omni shadows, as I told you all during the views, is going to kind of darken up the corners. As you can see, these are corners and these will get darker if you increase it and lighter if we decrease it. And then we've got shadow correction. Shadow correction will basically correct any shadows for flickering or any problems within the shadows. Over here we have normal, high and super. Well, these can then be selected to create a much better shadow effect after the render is done. But we have to understand that it is going to slow down the render process. So we can just go for a medium render speed by keeping it at high. The next one over here is reflection. Reflection planes should be added in places where reflection will be seen. And in scene 1, since it's only the road and the gate, we won't be having a lot of planes to add. Only where we have some metal, we can add those reflection planes. I'll add them on the walls, because as we know, all materials do have a slight reflection. I'll even add it on the ground over here, just for slight reflection. Again, how much reflection should be there is controlled by our material. When we are providing the material, we have the reflection icon in the editor. We can increase the reflection there, and then that depends on how much the reflection is going to show in the entire view, or in the entire video in this case. Next, we'll add the weather. Over here I'm going to add foliage wind, which will increase the wind speed basically. So if we have trees, then those would start moving. We have volume clouds, snow, cloud. Cloud over here will basically let us change the effects of the cloud. So we'll be adding the cloud over here as well. Then you've got horizon cloud, volumetric sunlight, fog and rain. Each of these can be used to kind of create an environment specific to a certain scene. So if you want a rainy scene, we can add the rain. If you want maybe a foggy scene, you can add the fog, and you can control the fog density and all of that as such. But we're not going to add many of these because we want a more clearer day. So we'll just be adding the foliage wind and the clouds. But I do suggest that you all go through all of the effects. I'm going to be explaining what each effect is, but you guys can go ahead and try them to see how it actually works out. Now, when I've increased the foliage wind, I'm going to increase the speed of this slightly so it's a little windy day. Next, we've got the positions of the clouds. So you can see the position on top. Now what I can do is I can change the position of the clouds throughout the video, so it looks like as if the clouds are moving. And to do that, what we're going to do over here is we're going to set a key over here. Now remember, once we set a key, we're going to have to use the time over here to set from what time to what time do you want the clouds to move. We would like the clouds to move throughout the entire clipping, so we're going to set it from the 0. So I'll just set a key over here. Then I'm going to increase the time all the way till the end, and I'm going to set another key over here. The minute I set the second key, I'll want to increase the position, so you can see this line which will like show an inclined line over here every time I increase it. This is basically going to let the clouds move throughout the entire video. And I'll do a play for you guys to see how the clouds are moving. So this would actually give a motion of a little more realistic look to the entire video. And you can of course change the master clouds out here, and we can even increase the low as well as the higher clouds. So I'll just show you what that are. I'll just pause the video. The low clouds are the thick clouds below, and the high clouds are the light clouds above. As you can see, those light clouds which are forming. So we can increase it to create more realistic looks depending on what kind of an environment we want to really provide. You've got the cloud direction, so it will actually give us the direction of the cloud. We have the cloud brightness to give a more whiter look to the cloud or a lesser whiter look to the cloud, as you can see. We have the cloud softness to see how soft we'd like the clouds to be. So I'm just going to increase the softness a bit, and I'm going to decrease the high clouds over here, but I'll increase the softness a little bit more. Then we have the low cloud softness removal. So it's basically, you can see how that little softness is kind of going away when I decrease it, and when I increase it, it's actually going to reduce, and it increases when I decrease it. So I'll just keep it a little low. Then we have the sky brightness. How bright do you want the sky to be, or do you want the blue part to be more? So we can set this accordingly. So again, it all depends on what kind of a weather do you really want. Now we have the HQ cloud setting over here, which is the high quality cloud setting. Again, you can keep this switched on if you would like a much better render. Again, that depends on how much time you have to actually take out the render, because it will of course take time to render the movie if we have the HQ clouds switched on. And now I'm going to just do a play to see how the clouds look, and you can see that they look really good moving throughout the sky. The quality is of course going to get much better once the render is done. So once I'm done with this, I'm just going to kind of pause the video over here and take the time back to 0. I'm going to now add a new effect, which will be objects. We'll be adding the mass move over here. Now mass move is basically going to let us move multiple objects together, like so many cars. So I'm just going to select the mass move. Now to add the mass move, I would suggest that we kind of click on the edit button here and take a top view from here, because we can then see all of the cars throughout the entire video. And we're going to actually create a very nice traffic movement over here, but we have to make sure that none of the cars collide with each other. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to first add a path. So you can see this small little circle that I have. I'm going to add it from the end of one path, and I'm going to drag it all along the end of the other path over here. The minute this path is added, I can increase the path width from here as well as the speed of the cars from here. So we'll keep them at around 26 right now. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add another path which is going to take the cars from here all the way, and then actually have the cars turning into this position over here. So how we're going to do that is we're going to add another path, select the right behind portion over here, and take it all the way till the front. Now the minute I click, I'm going to press Control, and you can see from this path itself I can add a new path over here like this. The minute this is done, I'm going to increase the path width. Now path width basically means whatever objects come on this path width are going to move. So I'll just kind of turn this over here and just decrease the path width ever so slightly, because we don't want this car to come into the path, and if it does, then we will change it as well. and we can increase the car speed slightly. The next one over here is I'm going to have this road go all the way, and we're going to have the cars going like this. So for that, we're going to do the same thing. Click on add path. Remember, everything is only from the portion over here. There is nothing on the keyboard that we can use. I'm going to add this path till here, hold control and select it till the end. Again, we're going to increase the path width as well as the speed. Now, if you guys notice that we have very rigid turns over here, so I'm just going to click on recalculate path and plate. So you can see how rigidly the cars are turning, but they all are moving in the motion that we would like to provide. We'd want to provide a much smoother turn for both of these. So what we'll be doing is we'll click on the pause button and just click on the path that we want to change. And we can increase the smoothness over here. As you can see, that becomes much more smoother. We'll do the same for this. Click on the circle and increase the smoothness as such. Now once we have done this, we'll just go ahead and see how they turn out to be, and that seems quite fair. We'll just be increasing the speed. Now whichever path is selected, we basically are increasing the speed of that path. I'm again going to pause this out here, select the next one and increase the speed of them as well. And of these, we'll keep it fastest because we have a lot of cars moving. And now once we play it, we can see how all the cars are moving in a proper motion. This provides a good traffic scene for us. As you can see, some of the cars are now moving in the air. The reason being is that we have to make sure that wherever we are placing our path, so as you can see, this path has now been placed on top of this car. We have to make sure that it is on the ground as such, and we'll just increase it over here so even this car starts moving. And as you can see, now all the cars are on the ground. This should be made sure so that none of the cars look like they are flying but moving on the ground. Now once I play this again, we can see that that car has luckily not been caught into the path, so it's not really going to move, and that looks fine over here. Okay, now once we're done with this, we can press the back symbol and I can play the movie so we can see that all the cars are moving, and this gives a very good motion throughout the entire video. Now the reason that I first set up the mass move is because we would prefer that all the cars move together. So we have all the cars moving, so even if it's a far off view, we still see the road behind over here having the cars move, so that provides a very realistic look. Now once we're done with this, let's pause the video and kind of take it back to 0, and I'll be adding a new effect now. The next effect I'd want to add is advanced move. Advanced move is going to let us add multiple movements to multiple objects. So I'm going to select the advanced move, and we're going to basically use advanced move to open the gate and make the car move out from here. So I'm going to play this to first understand the timing that we will need to provide the advanced move to. So make sure you're keeping your eye on the time over here. So it's around 11 now, 12, 13. At around 14 seconds, we can start opening this gate, and we let the gate open up to 19 seconds. And in between of the 14 to 19, we will provide the removal of the car from the building. So I'm going to pause this now and click on the edit button over here on the advanced move tab. And let's just go up to this portion where we have the gates. Now, preferably you'll always want to stay from the behind portion of the gate, because it makes it much more easier for us to actually open up the gate. Now when we know what we have the time set, so we have the time that it's going to move from 14 to 19. So we'll first pull out this time over here, and you can see the timing in the center. We'll pull it up to 14 seconds. The minute we reach 14, we will move the gate in the position that we want. So initial position of it is going to be the same position, which is basically closed. So once you give it a little move, you'll see this blinker which starts to start blinking, and we have a keyframe over here. Now we can increase the time up to 19 seconds to bring it to its end position, which will basically be the open position, and we'll now move this all the way to the open position like this. Now keep in mind that we have the move object